Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another live stream and welcome to all your latest Chelsea transfer news. As always, big up to everyone that's locked in. Make sure you're smashing up the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all that good stuff, and get your thoughts in the chat. As always, guys, we have got plenty to dive into in today's show. There's always stuff going on with the world champions. The breaking news from today is that Bayern Munich have opened talks with Chelsea over a move for Christopher Nkunku. We've also got news on a rejected bid for Chukwuemeka. The latest on Marc Cucurella, who has signed his new contract extension at Chelsea. Enzo Maresca once again has reiterated he wants a new centre-back before the end of the transfer window. Said that today in the pre-match press conference before the game against Crystal Palace. So loads to dive into, guys. I'm going to have a little look ahead to the Premier League opener as well. But first things first, guys, before we say hello to a few of you, before we dive into the show, as always, a quick reminder, make sure you check out Jersey's FC Soccer Shop. Link is in the description. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off. Great quality, affordable prices. Get names, numbers, patches, whatever you want on the back. Make sure you get the badge in and you let people know. As I said, guys, I don't lie about this stuff. If it wasn't good, I wouldn't say it is. People in the chat have bought them. They can attest for that as well. So make sure you check it out. Link in the description. Jersey's FC Soccer Shop. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off. Right, that's enough about that. Let's say hello to you lot in the chat and let's see what you lot are saying. Yes, big up, brother. Back the manager, get him a centre back. Yes, yes, yes. It seems Nkunku to Bayern is heating up. It is indeed. I think we should go throw the bank on Antonio Silva from Benfica. I mean, look, maybe. Fair play to Maresca in a press conference. Agree we need new centre back. Yep. Silva makes a lot of sense. 21-year-old contract ends in 2020. Same age as Pedro Neto. Obviously, look, it's about, obviously makes sense, but how viable is that kind of a move? It's big money. Do Chelsea have big money to spend on a centre back at this late stage in the window? It's not great, is it? It's not great. That personal terms agreement is in place. That's been there since January. Calvin Bassey is a great option from Fulham. Extremely underrated. Yeah, look, he's a good defender as well. Yeah, apologies. A little bit late. Yes, big up, brother. Big up. Having a shit day at work. Cheer me up with a Javi. Here we go, brother. I don't think there's going to be any Javi. Here we go. Because a minimum one player needs to leave for that to happen. Yeah, season starting today as well. Bro, we're going to get into this, but I can imagine you've not seen or read his explanation as to why. Yes, big up. Yes, welcome, brother. Welcome. Big up, bro. Right, let's dive into it. Let's start with the Christopher Nkunku news then, because we know that Bayern Munich have kind of returned circling for Nkunku. And now there was an exclusive from Ben Jacobs on this one, saying that Bayern Munich have opened talks. As might not be a surprise, chat. Bayern seeking a loan move. Of course they are. What is it with these German clubs? Even Bayern Munich, who have got money, they still come over and they try and take the piss. Guys, you are not having a loan deal. You're not having a loan deal. Bayern seeking a loan, but permanent sale not discounted. Chelsea's January asking prices dropped significantly. Of course it has. Because the asking price in January was absolutely ridiculous. It was ludicrous, mate. It was ludicrous. Anyway, this article from Ben Jacobs in TalkSport saying Bayern Munich have opened talks with Chelsea for Christopher Nkunku. The German champions made an inquiry back in January, but Chelsea's £60 million asking price was deemed too high. Bayern would prefer to do a loan with a buy option, but a permanent transfer is not ruled out, given Chelsea's asking price has now dropped. Bayern have also tried to add forward Nick Voltemade this month, but are yet to agree a fee with Stuttgart. TalkSport understands Nkunku will be allowed to leave for significantly less than the £52 million Chelsea paid RB Leipzig. At the start of the summer, Chelsea wanted just over 40 million, but an exit could be sanctioned for less than this now. Nkunku's market valuation, yeah. And obviously, he's ruled out a return to Leipzig. So, Bayern Munich have opened talks. The personal agreement is still there. The personal agreement is still there. Personal terms agreement still there from January. Those haven't changed. That personal terms agreement is locked in. Chelsea want a permanent deal. Loan with an obligation, I think that could be sanctioned. Loan with an obligation could be sanctioned because there is permanency to the deal in that regard. And the fact that the asking price has significantly dropped as well suggests to me that there's a deal there to be done. Bayern Munich have definitely got money to spend on Nkunku. If the Nick Voltemar deal proves too expensive, they can put a portion of that money towards signing Nkunku. It's it's not a difficult deal to finance. The personal terms agreement is there, and Chelsea aren't asking for an absolute fortune whatsoever. I think it's pretty clear that Nkunku wants to go and join Bayern Munich. That much is evident, chat. That much is evident. And then there's a little update here as well. And look, if it ends up being less than £40 million, I don't have a huge issue with that. Yes, it's quite a big hit on what we paid for him, but ultimately, we need to get him gone. We need to move this player on. And sometimes, things don't work out. Things don't work out sometimes. And that's okay. And that's okay, chat, if things don't work out. You just got to get as much as you can and then move on from it. This is Fabrizio Romano here. Chelsea told Bayern in a very clear way, Nkunku will only leave on a permanent transfer. That's their stance today. Now, again, later it goes into the window. That stance could potentially change. Chelsea have everything almost ready for Javi Simmons and are waiting to complete the Nkunku sale in order to proceed for the Dutchman. So this is now a case of, right, get Nkunku out. We can then push on and agree this deal for Simmons. Because at the end of the day, that's the hold-up. I agree that everything is sort of in place and agreed with Simmons. I think we know what the price is. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. And then we can finally get this deal done. Bro, what is wrong with you? Sarr has gone on loan to Strasbourg. Renato Vega doesn't want to be at Chelsea. He doesn't want to be here. I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, but I think a deal for Simmons is probably... It could well be done. It could well be done, a deal for Simmons. No doubt about it. It could well be done, chat. I think there's definitely a possibility a deal for Simmons could already be done. We're just waiting for the space in the squad, and then bang, I think you'll see an offer go in. It might be a profit because of the money we've already gave Leipzig, though. I don't know if it will be a profit or not. Big up, brother. Out of curiosity, why do we need to sell Nkunku or Jackson for Xavi to come? It's not a monetary issue. It's about the space in the squad. It's basically operating a one in, one out policy now. We need to create that space in the squad. It's not a financial issue. It's about creating space in the squad and moving Nkunku and Jackson out to create that space in attack. So it'll be Nkunku out, Simmons in, and then it will more than likely be Jackson out and then Garnacho to come in as well. We did buy 52 million, yes. It is applied in the Garnacho situation. Why do you think a deal for Garnacho is not done? Why do you think a deal for Simmons is not done? Because players need to leave in order for that to happen. Do you really think we'd be taking this long to do a Javi Simmons deal if we didn't need to free up space in the squad? Come on, guys. Let's engage our brains a little bit here. That policy is very clear. Javi Simmons would be done now if we didn't have to free up space in the squad. You know, that's really not that difficult to understand. Simmons would be done if that deal, if there was space. I think it probably is as well. If Jackson stays, then I don't think that then Garnacho probably doesn't come. If Jackson ends up staying, then I think it's unlikely Alejandro Garnacho comes in this window. I still think Garnacho will join Chelsea, but if Nicholas Jackson doesn't leave on a permanent transfer, then it's perhaps the case that Garnacho won't arrive. Then it's perhaps the case, chat, that Garnacho simply will not arrive. Now, Nkunku will go. Nkunku will go. One of those two will definitely leave. Will definitely leave. So I wouldn't worry about that. Both leaving. I think there's a chance that Jackson could stay. But yeah, one of them will definitely leave. In regards to the UEFA deal with the fines, I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that in a lot of detail as to whether that's having an effect on this or not. So yeah, that's where we are with Christopher Nkunku and Bayern. I expect this to now accelerate quite quickly. I think Bayern have sort of accepted that the asking price of Voltemada is too high. Is too high. No, he said he thinks. He said he thinks that Garnacho will come. He's giving his opinion. That's not fact that Garnacho is 100% arriving. No one's arriving unless players leave in terms of Nkunku and Jackson. No one's arriving. No one's arriving. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I think Nkunku will do a good job at Bayern. He knows the Bundesliga. He'll score goals. He'll create. He'll be a useful. He'll be a useful player. Because Chelsea clearly don't want Donnarumma. You know, they clearly got other ideas for the goalkeeping position, and they obviously maybe they don't see value in a deal. You know, maybe they don't see value in a deal. That's and you know, that's the decision the club have made. Then that is the decision that the club have made, and we stick with it. We stick with it. It's very, very simple, chat. Very, very simple. Guys, we're 153 in the building. Only 46 likes. Run up these likes, chat. We need to get to 100 as quickly as possible. So make sure you are smashing that like button. Smash up the likes, chat. And, of course, keep subscribing. We're racing towards 18K. Every new subscriber helps, guys. Yes, big up, brother. What sort of price do you think Nkunku goes for? I think probably anywhere between 30 and... I reckon he goes for about 35 million, personally. I reckon around 35. Yeah, he did say that. Run it up, run it up. Yes, all good, bro. Hope you're well. So that is the latest on Nkunku. That is the latest on Nkunku. Bayern Munich have opened talks. We're now just waiting for Nkunku to leave, basically. And then we can crack on and get these other deals done and who we are waiting to bring in. We know what we need to happen. You know, we know what needs to happen. Simple. Very, very simple. So we wait. We wait and we wait patiently until Nkunku leaves, and hopefully Bayern will get a move on with these negotiations, and maybe we'll get some sort of update on this next week. But yeah, that's the hold up essentially. That's the hold up essentially with everything right now. It's a domino effect. Once one domino has fallen, others will then fall into place. My score prediction against Crystal Palace, I think we'll win 2-1. No, bro, this is not happening today. No, absolutely not. This is definitely not happening today, in my opinion. Definitely not happening today, in my view. In my view, that's not happening today. But one, injuries, and then two, the system didn't really suit him. And when he did play, he just simply didn't do enough. But the injuries, the emergence of Cole Palmer, these are all things that just didn't help him at all. These are all things that just didn't help him. But yeah, anyway, let's move on from Nkunku and let's chat centre-backs. Let's chat centre-backs because Maresca once again, and just very quickly on people that were asking about this, about whether it's got to be one in, one out. This is from Romano. Christopher Nkunku, personal terms agreement with Bayern Munich. We know that. Now it depends if Bayern buy permanently, because if they will, it will be easier for Chelsea to complete the Simmons deal. Chelsea's strategy, one player in, one player out. So that is the situation as we know. That is the situation as we know. One player in and one player out. So until someone leaves chat, no one is coming in, as we know. Bro, Hincapié is not linked. That's been shut down pretty quick. There was one article that said that Chelsea admired Hincapié, and then that was shut down very quickly, that Chelsea won't be making an approach for Hincapié. And yeah, and that was that, quite frankly. That was that. Bro, of course it does. Do you really think we're just sitting waiting to do Garnacho? Bro, Simmons would be done by now if we didn't need to have space. Do you really think we decide to drag a deal out and to have Simmons not here for any pre-seasons, for Simmons not here for the Leverkusen or the Milan games? Do we really... Is that what we're saying here? Come on, guys. I think 35. I think 35 million would be my opinion on that. 35 million. But anyway, let's move away from Nkunku and let's talk the centre-back situation, because there was a bit of a confusion when Maresca spoke after the Leverkusen game about whether he said that he did want a new centre-back or not. There's no confusion with these comments now about wanting a new centre-back. Because again, he spoke today on the Colwell situation. We are trying to find solutions internally. The club know exactly what I think. I think we need a central defender. There it is. Clear as day. Clear as day. And now this puts to bed any nonsense that Maresca's happy with the current options at the club. He doesn't want anyone new. He doesn't want a new centre-back. He was misquoted. He was this. He was that. Very clear. Press conference today. Press conference today. Enzo Maresca. He's told the club he thinks we need a new centre-back. We try and find solutions internally. And the reason why he said that, because, again, and mainly for Assad here, because he's obviously not quite understanding it. This is why he wants a new centre-back. It's very, very simple. The explanation is very simple. When we build with Levi in the middle. It's different than the left side. Levi is out. The only one who can do that job well is Tosin. Hato's new. He never played as a guy in the middle last season. Central defender, yes, but it's different. Also, we have players that unfortunately have some problems, and this is the reason why I said the club knows exactly what I think about central defenders. This is not about not having enough defenders. This is about not having someone who can play the central centre-back role, okay? The central centre-back role. Tosin is the only one in the squad right now who is comfortable playing the central centre-back role. He cannot start every single game next season. He can't. He absolutely cannot start every single game next season. That is abundantly clear. That is abundantly clear. Couldn't be clearer, to be honest. Could not be clearer. I don't know. I mean, the reports now suggesting that Gurhi is going to run his contract down and leave on a free next summer. There have been exploratory talks with Liverpool, but yeah, that hasn't gone anywhere as of yet. That as of yet has not gone anywhere. Yeah, look, if you don't think we need one, that's people's opinions and that's fine. But ultimately, the manager knows best. The manager bought us 2 trophies last season and a return to Champions League football. If he's asking for a centre-back, then the club need to do everything they can to bring him a centre-back. Don't panic buy someone, but explore all options and do everything possible to bring us in a centre-back. Do everything possible. That's what he means. The central centre-back in the back 3. That's the whole point. Yeah, bro, I agree with you. People at the start of the summer were saying we need a centre-back. And now Colwell's injured and people are saying we don't need a centre-back. That's not really adding up, is it? That is not really adding up at all, what's being said there. Not adding up at all. Why do you need a centre-back at the start of the window? And then one gets injured and is going to miss the whole season pretty much. And now people are saying, oh, actually, we don't need a centre-back. Literally makes 0 sense whatsoever. So that is why. That is why. It's not about he doesn't like the other centre-backs. It's the fact that the other centre-backs aren't capable of playing that central centre-back role to the quality that Maresca wants or needs. You know, it's not easy to find a central centre-back. I absolutely agree with you. It's not easy to find it. But Maresca has now explained why. He's explained why, chat. And it's a very, very simple explanation. You know, Tosin can't start every single game next season. And currently, that looks like what's going to happen. You know, I don't understand why people are struggling so much with this concept. Struggling so much. Left centre-back is irrelevant. We're not talking about being a left centre-back. It's about being the central centre-back on the ball. That is the thing we're talking about here. Being the central centre-back on the ball. This is what we're talking about. It's not bringing a left-sided centre-back. It's not about a left-sided centre-back. It's about being the central centre-back on the ball when we are in possession. So when Cucurella inverts from that left-hand side, or when Gusto or James invert from the right-hand side, it's about being the central centre-back. Colwell is the best central centre-back in the squad. He plays that role perfectly. He plays that role perfectly. He plays the role perfectly, chat. And so we need to try and go and get one. If the manager's asked for one and you support this manager, and you have backed the manager this summer, by the way, you absolutely have backed the manager this summer. The fact that he's won 2 trophies last season and got us back to the Champions League, he has earned the right to be backed. And if he's asking for a centre-back, then we need to do everything we can to try and get a centre-back. Yes, of course, Chalobah can probably fill in on some occasions. Sure. You know, sure, he can do that. So it's been made clear. Now, let's see what the club decide to do. Let's see what the club decide to do. bro, Vega and Disasi are leaving. Vega and Disasi will be leaving. So there won't be an issue in regards to bringing a new centre-back in. Vega and Disasi will absolutely be leaving. I mean, look, if it was down to me, people know I'd bring in Mark Gurhey if it was down to me. You know, if it was down to me, I'd bring Mark Gurhey in. But that doesn't look like it's likely to happen. Although maybe things could change again now that Maresca's publicly said it in the press conference. No, we don't. I don't think we do. I don't think we do. Because no, Trev doesn't have to be sold. Trev doesn't have to be sold. I don't know where people are getting this idea from that Chalobah has to be sold. And look, people talk about Achimpong. Yeah, really talented boy. Looked good in pre-season. Sure. But to play him a significant role next season when we're trying to challenge for the Premier League title, that's a lot of pressure to put him under. And I wouldn't be keen to go into the season doing that. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't be keen on us going into the season with that much pressure on Achimpong to have to perform. I really wouldn't be keen on that, guys. Really wouldn't be keen on it. We sell Vega and Disasi, and I then think we're able to bring a new centre-back in. Bro, again, you're completely missing the point here. This is not about a quality issue for Josh. This is about playing that central centre-back role. He is not a central centre-back. Yes, okay, he played it all right, and he was quite good in one of the pre-season games. Fine. But there's a difference between being good in a one-off game in pre-season and being able to do that over the course of an entire season. We need to bring someone in. Bringing someone in doesn't make any difference to Achimpong. Achimpong wasn't playing central centre-back for Chelsea next season if Colwell was fit. So another centre-back coming in doesn't make a difference to Achimpong. Because Nkunku needs to leave in order for that to happen. And this as well. I like Achimpong. Think he's talented, but we're playing Champions League football, for fuck's sake, guys. We're playing Champions League football. I'm really struggling to understand why people are finding it so difficult to comprehend why we want a new centre-back. Whether you agree or disagree with the reasoning is fine, but I don't understand why so many of you are struggling to understand why the manager wants a new centre-back. Bro, Anselmino is done. He'll be going on loan. Anselmino won't be sticking around with the squad. He for sure is going on loan. He for sure is going on loan. Yeah, look, Achimpong will play games next season, but we're not in a position, in my view, to be starting him week in, week out. Bro, we won't call Mamadou Sarr back from loan. Yeah, I don't know why this keeps getting mentioned either. Bro, respectfully, Huijsen and Josh Achimpong are not at the same level, bro. They're not. They're not at the same level. Well, yeah, we desperately tried to get Dean Huijsen. Of course we did. Bro, again, where's this idea coming from? We've got 9 centre-backs. Vega and Disasi are both going. Okay, gone. They're out the picture. They are out of the picture. Vega and Disasi out of the picture. You've got actual centre-backs. Tosin, Chalobah, Badiashile, Fofana, Colwell. That's 5, right? Colwell obviously out. You've then got Ansel Mina, who's going to go on loan. You've got Achimpong. Bro, we haven't got 9 centre-backs. The difference between Dean Huijsen and Josh Achimpong, to start with, Huijsen was playing for Juventus. He played for Roma. He's done a whole season at Bournemouth, being a starting centre-back week in, week out in the Premier League. And there is immense quality there. He's a better footballer than Achimpong. You know, it's very simple. Bro, Hato's can't play in the Colwell position. Hato is a new one. He never played as the guy in the middle last season. Central defender, yes, but it's different. No, not that I've seen. No. Bro, it's on the screen. Like, the quotes are there. This is why he wants a new centre-back. Like, this is really not difficult to understand. Again, that was never substantiated by anyone reliable. That was never substantiated by anyone reliable, and no offers ever came in for him from those teams. Yeah, so let's imagine this. We don't sign anyone, and then we're gambling on Chalobah and Tosin staying fit all season. We're gambling on Chalobah and Tosin staying fit all season. And then you're also gambling on Fofana and Badiashile being able to stay fit. Why would you take those risks? Why? I wouldn't be as concerned about getting another centre-back if Badiashile and Fofana were reliable. The fact of the matter is, Badiashile and Fofana are not reliable. That's why I believe we need another centre-back. That's why we need another centre-back. Yeah, he might do, but that game time should maybe come on loan somewhere else in the Premier League where there's less pressure and he can go play week in, week out. All right, I'm going to the bottom of the chat. I know there's so much coming in. I'm lagging, am I? Chat, am I lagging? Am I lagging, chat? It looks all good to me. It looks all good to me. Bro, maybe that's your internet. Bro, he was. And apparently, there's more quotes to come in the embargoed section, which releases at 10:30 p.m. UK tonight. And he's gone strong on it. Strong on it. You know, and let me just bring this up now. Let me just bring this up now, guys. I mean, yeah, he could well be. Look, there's a reason. Look, there's obviously a reason why Chelsea so desperately wanted Dean Huyson. There's a reason why. No, of course he won't. Of course he won't walk out if he doesn't get a centre-back. Of course he's not going to walk out. But if there's a centre-back that we can get that fits what we're looking to do, then we should be doing what we can to bring him in. Very, very simple. I don't see Scalvini happening, chat. I don't see Scalvini happening. Let me just find this now, because there's going to be more quotes coming out tonight at 10:30 where Maresca's gone strong on this, chat. Where Maresca has gone strong on this. Let me just find, because Kieran Gill was at the presser today. There's more on this from Maresca in our embargoed section for 10:30 p.m. tonight. Brackets, and he was strong. It's clear, guys. Very, very clear. The gaffer's spoken. Get this man a new centre-back. Get this man a new centre-back. Very, very simple. Very simple. Very, very simple. Yeah, bro. Look, it's very clear we need a new goalkeeper. It's very clear we need a new goalkeeper, and yeah, I'm with you on that one. I want a new goalkeeper as well, but unfortunately, we can't always get what we want. But realistically, if it's a case of Garnacho or a new centre back, you forget that Garnacho deal and you go and get a new centre back. If that were to be the case. Yeah, he absolutely could be good. Yeah. Yeah, we are in a title race. I absolutely believe we're in a title race. But, you know, we are still one or two positions short of, I think, really seriously going for the title. But we're in a title race. You know, we're in a title race. Yeah, look, just because the manager's asked for one publicly, again, that doesn't mean that one's coming. But we need to do whatever we can to try and bring a centre back in. We need to do whatever we can to try and bring a centre back in. That is clear. You know, that's the situation. But again, yeah, look, as some of you have said, yes, the market for centre-backs, it's not that great. It's not that great, chat. I agree. It's not that great. What's happened to Usman Diamonde links? Well, bro, I think we've been linked with Diamonde all summer. There were talks of a move to Crystal Palace, and then that never really materialised. That never really materialised either. So that was a strange one. Now, I understand that you can't always buy. However, if we buy someone, the chances are next summer, Badiashile or a Tosin could leave, or a Fofana could leave. Do you get what I'm saying? No Sanchez agenda. I just don't think he's good enough. Yeah, I've acknowledged that he improved at the back end of last season. I don't believe he's good enough. If he proves everyone wrong, fantastic, and I'd absolutely love that. But as of yet, the 2 seasons that he's been here, I've not seen anywhere near enough evidence to suggest that this guy is a top keeper. Yeah, that is true. And Nkunku and Bayern Munich have agreed personal terms, but those were the same personal terms that were agreed all the way back in January. Those same personal terms were agreed all the way back in January, chat. All the way back in January. Well, bro, Colwell wasn't injured then, so yeah. Latest on Lavia, yeah, he's recovering, basically. He is recovering. I think we're in a title race. The window's not closed yet, but Chelsea are in a title race. You know, no one knows. No one knows whether we're getting a centre-back or not. We have to wait and see how it pans out. We have to wait and see how it pans out. Chat, keep smashing the likes. There's 245 in the building. Only 108 likes. Let's get this up to 150 as quickly as possible. Please smash that like button. It takes seconds, and it really, really helps me out more than you can imagine. The more likes something is, the more YouTube pushes it in the algorithm, and I would greatly appreciate that. So smash that like button. And keep subscribing as well. We're 150 subs away from 18K. Every new subscriber really helps. So smash up the likes and subscribe, chat. Make sure we get to 150 likes minimum. Look, Nathan Collins is decent, but it's definitely not a player that I see Chelsea going for. Not a player I see Chelsea going for. No, look, confirmed, absolutely zero chance of Renato Vega being reintegrated back in. Bro, he improved over a small sample of games towards the end of last season. He was great at the Club World Cup, and he had some good games towards the back end of the campaign. All my opinion is, I don't think this guy is a great goalkeeper. He's not a title-winning goalkeeper. No top side in the Premier League is swapping their goalkeeper for Robert Sanchez. City aren't swapping for Sanchez. Liverpool aren't swapping for Sanchez. Arsenal aren't swapping for Sanchez. Man United might. Spurs aren't. No top teams are swapping their goalkeeper for Robert Sanchez. Yes, he's improved, but I'm yet to be convinced that this guy is a guy that's good enough to be a goalkeeper for a top club and is good enough to be a Premier League winning goalkeeper. There needs to be significant improvements until my mind gets changed on that. It's a possibility, but given it's Friday afternoon already, I would probably say no. Bro, we're not buying Hincape. Hincape's not happening. Over Garnacho, yes. Not over Simmons, but over Garnacho, absolutely. We should be prioritising a defender over Garnacho. Absolutely. What else is coming in? I think, honestly, right now, I actually think a defender's more important than a new goalkeeper. I'd love both. We're not getting both. But yeah, a defender is definitely more important than a new goalkeeper. 100%. 100%. A defender's more important than a new goalkeeper. Absolutely more important. Absolutely more important. But it's interesting, isn't it, chat? It is interesting. Because Maresca's made it clear now. Yeah, Colwell played a lot of games last season. He played a lot of games last season. He is vital to how we play. He's vital to how we play. Dacia Fofana's still here. He's gonna be sold. He's gonna be sold. Again, it's obvious. Chelsea do want a new goalkeeper, but it's very difficult. The situation's difficult. This idea that Chelsea don't want a new goalkeeper is nonsense because they tried to sign Mike Maignan. If you don't want a new goalkeeper, why are you doing all those negotiations for Maignan? Of course we wanted a new goalkeeper. Of course we did. Of course we wanted a new goalkeeper, chat. You know, that's not a ridiculous thing to be saying. Like this idea that people think that Chelsea didn't want a new goalkeeper. It's madness. It's absolute madness. Of course we wanted a new goalkeeper, chat. Couldn't have been any more obvious we wanted a new goalkeeper. But anyway, we'll wait and see what happens. It's clear now. It's clear now. Maresca's said his piece. Let's see what these quotes are later tonight on further bits and pieces there. But yeah, that's that on the centre back situation. Let's wait and see what the club decide to do. In terms of other business, Carney Chukwuemeka's future. Chelsea have rejected a loan offer from Dortmund with an obligation to buy worth more than 15 million for Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka's keen on a return to Dortmund. Why do we keep having to deal with these guys? These guys charge top dollar for their players when they're selling them, and then we're in a situation where when it comes to them trying to buy players, they put in... These guys have wanted Chukwuemeka all summer. And then the best they can come up with so far is a loan with £15 million obligation to buy. Are these guys taking the piss? I mean, seriously, guys, come on. Like, why do Dortmund always do this? They act like some poor club. They're not a poor club, but why do they always put on the poor man act? Why do they always put on the poor man act? I just don't understand it at all. I don't understand it at all, chat. Why? Yeah, exactly. Bro, I swear, honestly, Dortmund are one of the worst clubs to try and do this. They're one of the worst clubs to try and do this. Potentially, yes, but that'll be in the form of Vega and Disasi. Bro, there's two sections, right? The first part of the press conference is for television, and then the second part of the press conference is for written media. So it's for newspapers. So that's why I have it in two parts. So the first part is for TV, and then the second part is for written media. That's the reason. Yes, big up, brother. All good. Yeah. More confidence on Xavi now. No, he wants Dortmund. And look, a deal will get done, but Dortmund are going to have to do a bit better than that. They're going to have to do much better than that. They're going to have to do a lot better than that. You know, at a bare minimum, there should be at least 20 million. Chukwuemeka really should be 25 mil, chap. He really should be 25 mil. I think that's, I believe that to be a fair price. Chukwuemeka should be 25 million. I think that's more than fair. I think that's more than fair. Is it not? Because I certainly do. I certainly believe it's fair. I don't think we'll get 30. No, the written media do get access to the first part of the press conference as well, but then the second part is specifically for obviously for written media. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think they will try. I think they will try, but whether there's someone in the market that fits the bill for what we're looking to do, and whether the deal is right and the price is right and all those things is another conversation. But I think I do think they'll try. I do believe they will try, guys. I really do think they'll try. But other than that, it could be a bit difficult. Other than that, it could be a bit difficult, I'll be honest. So yeah, they need to up that. Chukwuemeka will leave, chat. Chukwuemeka will leave, but yeah, it's looking a bit. Yeah, it's looking peak at the moment. It's looking bleak in terms of that situation for us, chat. But anyway, in terms of other news, guys, Marc Cucurella. This has not been confirmed by the club, by the way. This has not been confirmed by Chelsea, but it has been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, who says Chelsea have now completed the agreement with Marc Cucurella over new deal, seen as key player on the pitch, leader off the pitch, and really important for present/future. New contract is signed and sealed for everyone. So there we go. Obviously not been announced. I'm sure we'll get an announcement of that at some point. At some point over the weekend, or maybe even later on today, chat. There's a possibility we could get something later on today, maybe. But that's done. And look, deserved, rightfully so. Rightfully so. Fully deserved. Fully deserved. And yeah, you know, that's what we should be doing, tying players down to deals. That's exactly what we should be doing. You know, they simply don't know how to win, chat. Yeah, we need a permanent transfer. Yeah, the Cucurella new contract is fantastic news, guys. Well overdue, well deserved. And yeah, a reward for his fine form. Absolutely a reward for his fine form. %100%. Okay, let's have a look at that. Let's have a quick look. So yeah, look, just again confirmed what was being reported earlier, chat. Chelsea and Bayern are in talks over a deal for Nkunku. Nkunku's thought to prefer a permanent switch. Well, that's great. Nkunku wants permanent switch. Chelsea want a permanent switch. Let's just get this done. Look, there's a long way to go in things like this, but I've got a feeling that this deal will get done. It's just going to be a question of the price, and I think Chelsea and Bayern will agree on a price. I really do think Chelsea and Bayern will agree on a price. So, yeah, that's also good news. That's also good news, and yeah, that's just a confirmation of what we've already covered earlier. But that has now come out from the Athletic as well. So there we are. Nkunku and Bayern. That's kind of the big story from today, chat. Nkunku and Bayern is gathering pace. That's gathering pace. Yeah, to be honest, yeah, £35 million total package. That for me, that gets the deal done. That does get the deal done. 35 million total package. That 100% gets the deal done. No doubt about it in my mind. That gets the deal done, chat. Bro, we're not going to get more for Nkunku. That is Nkunku's value. Diaz is worth way more than Nkunku. Of course he is. Yeah, no, I don't think we'll be. I don't think we won't be accepting a loan, chat. We won't be accepting a loan. Absolutely no chance we'll be accepting a loan deal. Bayern have got money to spend. Bayern absolutely have money to spend, chat. So it's just a case of whether we are going to agree or not on that. And I think the best solution is no loans. No loans. Yeah, I don't understand. Maybe it's in the embargoed section that will come later. I don't understand why no one asked if Nkunku or I mean, I don't think Nkunku would, but I don't know why no one's asked whether Nicholas Jackson will be in the squad this weekend. Why has no one asked that? Why has no one asked that question? I mean, as I said, it might come in the thing. It might come in the thing. So let's wait and see. But yeah, why no one's asked the question in the first part of the presser is an interesting one. Unless everyone already knows the answer. I don't know. Oh, yeah, shit, of course he is. I completely forgot. Of course he is. Yeah, he's serving the last match in his ban for the red card against Newcastle. Because Newcastle was 2 games before the end of the season. He's got one more match to serve. So, yeah, no, of course, he's got a red card. Yeah, I completely forgot about the red card, yeah. Yeah, that was reported by one journalist. I've not seen that backed up anywhere else. I haven't seen that backed up anywhere else. But yeah, so look, gathering pace in Nkunku and Bayern Munich. Let's just get it on. Let's just get it on. Let's just get it on. Very simple. I don't see him going to Tottenham, no. I would have thought more than that. Chilwell, Sterling, Disasi, Vega, Chukwuemeka, Nkunku, Jackson, maybe Tyreek George. There's 7 or 8 players there that we've still got to get rid of. That's a decent amount of money. You know, I'd say, yeah, more than 120 million on those, I would have thought, yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure those conversations have taken place within the club. I'm sure those conversations have taken place, guys. Those conversations definitely would have taken place. Yeah. No, the Sassy to Wolves has not fallen through. The Sassy to Wolves hasn't fallen through, chat. It hasn't fallen through. Bro, it's over for George anyway, if we're being brutally honest. With the signings that have been made this summer, it's over for George anyway. You know, Simmons coming doesn't suddenly change George's situation. Even without Simmons, even with no more signings, George is still facing a bleak situation at Chelsea next season. I mean, he could well be, but ultimately, there's no interest in Hincapié. There's no interest in Hincapié from Chelsea. No, the Sassy to Wolves hasn't fallen through. Yeah, of course it is. You know, teams know we've got players to sell, and they will wait as long as they possibly can in the window in the attempt and the hope that we will drop our price. This is all very standard games for the transfer market for this time of the window. This is what happens. This is nothing new. This is pretty standard. These are exactly the sort of things that go on. These are exactly the sort of games that happen when the transfer window gets to the later stages. Yeah, look, time is not on our side. You've got about 2 weeks to sign a centre-back. You've basically got 2 weeks to sign a centre-back, complete Simmons. Bro, you're not going to play Reece James at central centre-back on the ball. You know, that's obviously not happening. Reece James at central centre-back on the ball is not a move that we're going to be doing. Not a move that we're going to be doing. You know, Sterling will go, but there's no interest right now. Or there's interest, but there's no offers. There are clubs interested. The Chilwell one is the one that worries me. The Chilwell one is the one that worries me. Because there's literally no clubs interested in him whatsoever. Bro, whatever you think of Garnacho, and I don't really want him to come, he's better than Tyreek George. He's better than George. Like, let's just be honest. He is better than Tyreek George. I think that much is obvious. I really do think that much is obvious. He is better than George. I mean, Garnacho's more looked at as a market opportunity. And if you look, Chelsea aren't going to go above or much above their £30 million valuation. So if United aren't prepared to compromise, Chelsea won't be signing Garnacho. So that's simple. The Garnacho deal can be advanced. It can be as advanced as it wants to be. But ultimately, unless United drop their price, the deal's not happening unless that happens. You know, so yeah, I think I agree. I think we'd come up maybe 35 million. I think we'd come up to 35, but I don't see us going. I don't see us going any higher than 35 million. I think we would definitely come up to that, but other than that, I don't see us going to 40. I mean, logical situation would be you meet in the middle at 40. I don't see that happening. Yeah, look, I agree. I think 35 million is the tops that we'd go to. If United won't accept 35 million, then yeah, this deal simply will not happen. What's that on Team Talk? Yeah, look, I would prefer that as well, but unfortunately, chat, I don't see Man United doing that sort of a deal. I don't see United doing that sort of a deal. If we're being really honest with ourselves here, chat, United aren't going to do that sort of deal. Who's saying that Chelsea are readying a £35 million bid? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Team Talk. What are they saying? Let's have a look. When was this tweeted out? Is it in this? Maybe it's in this. No, maybe not. Anyway. No, I don't even think we'll go to 40 total package. I think it'll be 35 all in, maybe 30 plus 5. I reckon maybe 30 plus 5. Yeah, it's just about Nkunku. It's all the same information. Yeah, I think 30 plus 5 gets him. Yeah, bro, it's the same information that's already been covered, that's already out there. Yeah, look, I think we know that the Simmons deal is probably already done. I think we know the Simmons deal is probably done, chat. We're just waiting. We're just waiting and waiting and waiting. No, I'm not. I'm not frozen. No, no. I'm not frozen. Yes, we've got opposition preview, which will come out tomorrow morning with D from Back of the Nest. So we're recording that later on today. That'll be out tomorrow morning. And then obviously tomorrow we'll have a bit of a match preview as well on the channel. So yeah, tomorrow. Now, the Indy Carla thing, that it started out as that, but the account's obviously now changed hands and it's got like 4 or 5 journalists working on it. And it has got some stuff right this summer. I wouldn't say it's like 100% like a top tier source, but they have got stuff right. They have got stuff right. So, like, take it with a pinch of salt, but some of the stuff they've reported this summer has been correct. Yeah, I'll be at Palace. I'll be there. We will be there. Of course, we will be at Palace. So, yeah. Interesting chat. Oh, he's gonna cost you more than 50 million, particularly at this late stage as well. And Benfica would have to go and find themselves a replacement. He's definitely costing more than 50. 100% he's costing more than 50. And I just don't see us spending that sort of money on there. I just don't see us spending that type of money. I just don't think we've got that sort of money. You know, let's see. I don't think that for me, I'm not really that asked about that. We will get a deal. You know, that's not going to affect our performance on the pitch. So I'm really not particularly fussed on that. Really not that fussed on it. Yes, guys, run up the likes. What are we on? 157. Chat, let's try and get this to 200 if we can. Let's try and get to that 200 likes mark or as close as we possibly can. Keep smashing up the likes and keep smashing the subscribe button as well. Yeah, not easy negotiations. Yeah, look, Collins is actually all right, but yeah, I think that's a bit of a rogue shout. A bit of a rogue shout for a Colwell replacement. Definitely a bit of a rogue shout. No denying that. No denying that. No denying that whatsoever. Let's have a look what else is going on, chat. Let's have a look what else is going on. Doesn't seem to be that much. No, I mean, that won't happen. I don't know. Look, maybe that might be it, but there's definitely a chance that we sign a defender. There's definitely a chance. Whether it happens or not, who knows? But yeah, exactly. There's loads. The Vega won't be brought back into the team. There's loads to look forward to. There's loads to be excited about. 100%. Lots and lots to look forward to, chat. Lots and lots to look forward to. And there's definitely a good feel around the place, and we should be excited. We should absolutely be excited about this, chat. 100% we should be. I mean, maybe you could loan a defender. I mean, look, it's not beyond the realms of possibility we could look to the loan market at centre-back. Again, I'm not sure what that's going to get you, but there's a possibility that might do it as well. You know, it's possible. I don't think we'll go for Laporte. I think he's still injured anyway. I don't see us going for Laporte, chat. I don't see us going for Laporte. But yeah, I mean, or players with 1 year left on their contract potentially. You know, could be another way of getting a cheaper replacement. Yeah, I'm not really sure why he said that. You know, 24 teams qualify, I think, from the group stage. Man City won 3 games and got out the league phase. So, you know, the idea that we wouldn't win 3 out of 8 games is pretty mad, in my view. But yeah, look, it is what it is. No, whatever. Well, that's not happening because the first game's on Sunday, so that's not going to happen. But yeah, look, it's definitely a possibility. Definitely a possibility, chat. For sure, the loan market, and that maybe that's a way around it. Maybe that's a way that we look to explore this. Maybe that's a way that we look to explore this. But anyway, chat. I'm going to round this one out here. Big up to everyone that's tuned in. Appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Make sure on your way out you are smashing that like button. Let's get this as close to 200 likes as we possibly can. Smash up the like button. Subscribe if you're new round here as well. That would be greatly appreciated. And Of course, guys, if there's any major developments later on today, I'll be back again, but I don't think that's particularly likely to happen. If not, I will see all you lot again tomorrow for the latest Chelsea transfer news and the look ahead to the opening game of the Premier League season against Crystal Palace. As I said, smash up the likes, subscribe if you're new, and enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon, whatever you lot are getting up to. Up the Chelsea, and we're out. Peace.